My name's Gregg Fosse. This is our video on how to tune the sitar. A lot of us in the West are used to using the chromatic tuners, and most of those have a visual. And so instead of training our ear, we're actually training our eyes. And if you're going to play the sitar, you have to have a very keen sense of pitch with your ear, particularly because of the mean, to pulling the notes to the side. So training the ear in finer and finer perception is really necessary for tuning the sitar and playing the sitar. And I recommend that you use, instead of a chromatic tuner, a drone like the iTanpura app for the iPhone, or any kind of drone, or a tuning fork. It gives you a pitch to tune to. And if you have a chromatic tuner, you can use it as a backup. So when you're tuning to a tuning fork and you're not sure if the string is sharp or flat, you can always make your best guess and then use a chromatic tuner, and it'll show you whether you're sharp or flat. Some of us need, that kind of ear training, because when you get really close in pitch, sometimes it's very difficult to tell whether you're sharp or flat. That's especially true if you smoked your breakfast, so don't do that. I like to tune the sympathetic sa, the sympathetic the tariff sa, and then tune everything off of that. So I've tuned, this sitar is tuned to D, and then I like to tune the sa chikari of the same pitch. And again, if you think you're a little bit, off, I think I'm a little flat, so I'm just, and then once those two are in unison, you should be able to trigger the sa tariff by hitting your sa chikari and then damping it. You should hear the sa tariff ringing, and I can hear it. And then you want to tune your high sa chikari, which is the little string on the end here. The easy way to get to the sa chikari is over here close to the post, because the other string is kind of out of the way. It's difficult with the pick to just get that one string, but here you can. And then tuning the high sa chikari. And I'm tuning the pa. Then both of my strings are pa. I tuned a double pa instead of using ga. And then I like to use harmonics. So to tune the brass sa, the low sa drone, use the sa chikari and then the harmonic on the brass sa. I'm just a little bit flat. There we go. And then you can use the harmonic on the same brass sa to get your pa. And you can use the harmonic on the bajtar, or main melody string, with a little meanding to perhaps stretch them in. And then once your drone strings are all in tune and your main melody strings in tune, you can tune the rest of the tariff, or sympathetic strings, against the drone strings, or against the drone if you have an iTanpura app on your phone or something. With acoustic sitar, and even with this instrument that has geared tuners, a lot of times you are forced to sort of grab the sympathetic string I like to use the fingernail of my middle finger and make sure you've got the right string, because I've pulled the wrong string out of pitch. But when you're a little bit sharp, get your fingernail under there and then pull it a little bit up and a little bit towards you, and it'll bring it down into pitch if you're a little bit sharp. You just have to get a feel for it. That one's a little sharp, so I'm gonna yank him a little bit. He's a little sharp, so I'm yanking on him. There we go. But again, the reason I plucked him so many times is to make sure I was gonna yank the correct string. And then the last thing you tune with the sitar is you tune the frets. You tune the frets. Once you've got your sympathetic strings where they sound sweet, they sound right to you with the drone, use your own ear rather than a chromatic tuner, and set them. And even if you're off, it's your perception of ga, not somebody else's, that matters. So once you've got them to where they sound good, then you double check and make sure your frets are triggering the sympathetics. And again, you just strike the note, fret the note, strike the note, and then damp the string. You can hear the sympathetic ringing. Again, you can hear it ringing. Again. So all these, I obviously spent some time with this instrument to get all the frets to line up with the tariff strings. But if you start with the sa tariff and tune that perfectly to the correct pitch, whether it's C sharp, which is what I normally play to. This instrument's going down to Saluda, North Carolina, and Gigi Dover and the Big Love Band is playing down there tonight, and their guitar player Eric actually plays the sitar, and I believe this instrument's going to be seen on stage tonight for the very first time. But anyway, tune the sa chikari first, and the reason I like to use the sa chikari as a reference, you're not strumming on the chikari. When you strum and yank these upper strings around and stuff, it can tend to move them out of pitch. But the tariff strings, I meant to say tariff. I always keep getting chikaris and tariffs mixed up. The sympathetic strings are not normally strummed, and when they are, it's very light and gentle, like so. So they normally stay in tune better than the upper strings do. So I use the sa tariff as a reference, the sympathetic sa, and then tune everything off of that and keep double checking. And as you play, you can always double check the pitch of your bajtar, however you say it, with the harmonic. And the same with your brass sa. Ustad Imrat Khan told me one time, he said the essence of the Etowah Gharana is tuning, the essence. So the better in tune your instrument is, the more it's going to ring out, and all the strings will reinforce each other, and all the resonances and overtones will just reinforce each other, and you get an amazing sound without hardly doing anything yourself, just if the instrument's really in tune. So good luck with it. Use the chromatic tuner as a double check if you're having trouble determining whether the string is sharp or flat to the pitch you're tuning to. So make a good guess, listen with your ear, make a good guess, and then check it with a chromatic tuner, and that way you can educate your ear and enjoy. Thanks for listening.